In this segment, Stephanie Miller is joined by Malcolm Nance for a spirited debate about Trump's battle with the courts.
She lies, but she's a lowlife. And she's a very low IQ person and a lowlife. And I don't imagine the Democrats are going to have a person like that running their party. If they do, they'll never win an election again. It would be very hard. But I can't imagine she's going to last long.
And what do you think of Governor Gavin Newsom's?
To be smart, you do need a brain. You can't get around with little quips. And I've watched her. I've only heard of her for the last couple of days, and I watched her make a speech, and she can't speak. And she truly is a low-level person on the very important chart of intelligence.
Yeah.
And really, it's nice to have intelligent people running your operation.
Yeah. So somebody you can talk to, who you can have a good conversation with.
She was a comedian. I couldn't believe she was a congressman or whatever she is. and no, I thought she was a comedian.
That's unbelievable.
And she was sort of a little bit funny, but crude. And now I find out she's actually a politician, who the Democrats are going to suffer with this one.
It boggles the mind.
Exactly. It boggles the mind that this happened. That I'm glad we know about it and not had to wait for 2 or 3 years for a book to come out. So Thank you to Goldberg.
I'm glad it was with a responsible journalist,
absolutely,
who withheld very important parts that he was sent.
Yeah, but I mean, what are your thoughts, Malcolm?
Well, it's funny you should mention it, but we only have about 15 minutes here. So what I was saying is I have a 35-minute rant on YouTube and Substack where I give you a very different perspective about what happened because, as many of you know, I am a former collections operator for the Navy version of the National Security Agency, and I've worked at the National Security Agency, and I look at this from the perspective of the enemy that is targeting Pete Hegseth, or Hegseth, whatever his name is. I look at it from a very different perspective, from the Chinese, the 2 Russian intelligence agencies, the Iranians, the Venezuelans, the Boy Scouts of Newark, New Jersey. Any one of them could have targeted these people by going strictly after the phone number. Or, my favorite way, using a journalist with a telephoto video camera to watch your fingerprints, watch your finger movements on your text, or a scanner to go after your phone number, or call up Fox News producer you used to know and ask for Pete's number, or any other of the hundreds of thousands of ways did not involve cracking the Signal end-to-end encryption. But that's okay, because guess what? Signal has already been broken into. The reason why it's not a problem for the average person is because guys like me, the NSA or the Russian, Communication Security Service, or China's National Security Service, or the Danish or the Dutch, we don't care about you and your communications as individuals. We go after the tippy top national decision makers, and we put all of our computing, decryption, personal spy, human intelligence, hot chicks, at Mar-a-Lago. We put all that around you, and then we get your phone number, and we figure out what time are you calling people? What is the pattern of your communications? Who's that you're, booty calling at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning? And then we attack them, get their communications, and break right into your phone by adding things to your phone. And you give me every person in the United States government's private phone number, like the vice president or that idiot Tulsi Gabbard, who should know all of this because she allegedly runs 19 intelligence agencies. They are a ship of fools. This is the greatest breach in U.S. intelligence history. And here's why, Jody. I'm going to tell you why. Because if their phones are compromised, they're private phones, and I must assume they're compromised, because we would have done it. We probably are doing it. But if their phones were compromised, they were carrying them into top secret meetings, the White House, their meetings with their boo, wherever that phone was, it is a transmitter, and that's what mobile phones are. When the mobile phone era started, we could not vacuum everything, so we started selective targeting of key individuals so that we wouldn't have to sift them out of the giant vacuum cleaner in the sky. This man, all of those people, their phones are compromised. Everything they have ever said in secret was either monitored or they know about or can get access to. We are so screwed here.
Oh, I feel so much better now. Good night.
Your comms are secure. No one's going after you.
Well, I don't use Signal, so I'm not concerned.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I might have been on that chat.
Right.
I mean, I have friends of mine that are reporters going, hey, am I not important enough to have been on that chat?
Right.
But it's my thought is that they're using Signal, and a lot of other people are saying that they're using this in order to keep things for FOIA reasons, to keep things out of the Government Records Act, basically. Do you think that's part of the malice of them using Signal too?
Oh, sure. But I think it's simpler than that. Okay, let's Occam's razor this thing.
Okay.
It's as simple as this. The reason they're using Signal and their private telephones, and I'm going to use a professional technical intelligence term. We actually have a term for enemy communicators who are trying to keep things out of our sight and purview, but they don't due to internal errors or mistakes. The reason they do it is because they're morons. And they're morons because they think they're masters of the universe now.
Yeah.
And that whatever they do is secure by dint of the fact that I'm talking privately to the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and he's telling me his raw opinions about Europe.
Yeah.
And that if it's between us on Signal, no one's going to know about this, and no one's ever going to break in. On their freaking desk are secure, cryptographically secured telephone systems the United States government has spent 100 years developing that cannot be broken.
Right.
But why use that when you can go to the freaking Wawa, pick up a coffee, and, text out secret war plans with Russians following you, Chinese intercept operators following you, entire space-based systems dedicated to you, right? And journalists following you, bloggers following you, your own people, your secretary out there accidentally sending your phone number or your open Signals chats and letting people know when you're available, when you're not available. The global system of spying has always been oriented to getting you, the key decision maker, to screw up. And these people are like, hey, y'all, we're in charge now. Let's just screw up so that the Russians and the Chinese know everything that we're doing.
Yeah, I think the question that Michael Bennett had for Ratcliffe about the advisor being in Moscow at the time, I think that was on purpose.
Oh, geez. That guy, look, when he went to the Kremlin, he I'm not joking about what I'm going to say next, was told, you must leave your telephone in the secure box before going into the Kremlin. And he put it in the box. Huge swarm of technicians from Russia's NSA, called the Central Communications Security Agency, swarmed down, did an instant technical analysis, or hacked that phone on the spot. I'm sorry to tell you, I can't say that I've actually done this in the past, but I've been part of a special team, and these guys would have said, this man's an idiot. This is our phone. Witkoff is just borrowing it, and Witkoff's communications could have poisoned every other phone's communication.
Yep.
Oh, geez. This is a disaster. This makes Edward Snowden look like an amateur.
Yeah.
Because he just stole stuff. These people gave it away.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.